Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, you smell that? Sour Me Unicorn Farts is a 5.5% glittered sour ale from DuClaw Brewing Company in Baltimore, Maryland. There's nothing quite as rare as a unicorn, and even rarer, a unicorn fart. Now I'm going to be upfront and tell you I think glitter is a scourge on our universe. I've yet to have any kind of glittered beer, and I've yet to have a DuClaw Brewing Company beer either. So you're getting a couple twofers on this channel. Firsts for me, but I'm curious as to how this DuClaw Sour turns out. Let's take a look at the label and we'll get it into a glass. But first I'd like to thank my executive producers, Brian Kramer, David Jeffries, Chad Shirk, and Cam Freeman for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe just throw me a couple bucks for a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.drafttherapy.com, where you can get early access to these videos and a few other special perks that are available only to patrons. Let's take a look at this one. So, again, I've never had anything from DuClaw before, but across the top it says brewed and canned by DuClaw Brewing Company in Baltimore, Maryland. If we're going to look down the front, we got this kind of, I don't know, it looks a little sickly, this unicorn. Personally, I think he looks a little sickly, or she, but a unicorn's jumping over where it says Sour Me, and there's a rainbow coming out of its butt, a little toot there, and it says Unicorn Farts, glittered sour ale, ale brewed with fruity cereal and edible glitter. 5.5% alcohol by volume. On the bottom it says craft be cherished, rules be damned. On the side it says ale brewed with fruity cereal, edible glitter, artificial flavor, and FD&C yellow number 5, DuClaw Brewing Company. And then on the other side it says, it has a donut and a snifter glass. It says pony up for a taste of this glittered sour ale brewed with a trio of fruits, fruity cereal, and a swirl of edible glitter. Based on the flavor profile of the famous Unicorn Farts donut made with fruity cereal, this beer is medium-bodied with big fruit notes, slight tartness, plus a hint of malty biscuit. A fantastical collaboration between DuClaw Brewing Company and Diablo Donuts. And underneath that, it has the DuClaw Brewing Company logo and their slogan, and then the Diablo Donuts logo as well. It says sparkles may settle, swirl or gently invert before pouring. This was canned in May. So that's weird that this just came here to market, but it's a sour. I'm going to give a gentle little roll here. I don't generally roll any kind of beer, but I think it's important that we get the maximum glitter out of this. But yeah, canned in May, and this is now October that I'm recording this. It's a little weird that we just got this here, and it was like, hey, this beer is on the shelf, so I would have thought it would have been a fresh beer. I didn't even look at that before I just looked at it now. So let's go ahead and crack it and put a nose on it. But it's a sour ale. It should be okay. It didn't explode on me when I rolled it around, so that's a good sign, right? So let's put a nose on it. Has that kind of sour note to it. I don't really smell any kind of fruitiness. It's a really subdued kind of aroma, but I'm getting like hints of a sour kind of ale. So let's go ahead and pour this into my Tiku glass, my Draft Therapy Tiku glass. Not the color I was expecting, but it is more of a kind of pale yellow. Whoa. Whoa, unicorn. And okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I can definitely see some glitter kind of swirling around in here. I'm going to cut it off here, and I'm going to try and get a close-up. I'm going to leave whatever's left in the can and try and pour it after this and get a close-up and insert it into this. But there's a lot of this glitter kind of floating through. Got about 2 fingers of head, I think. At max, well, it was all the way to the top, so it was about 2.5 fingers ahead before. The head's really dense, but it's kind of dissipating rather quickly. Holding it up to the light here, yeah, I mean, that's pretty hazy. There's a bit of a sediment, but I can definitely still see glitter throughout that. It's got a kind of a peachish orange color to me. To you, it probably looks, well, it looks pretty orange, maybe a little bit on the yellowish side. Go ahead and put a nose on it. Ooh, the aroma now is a lot more of that kind of sour ale smell. I want to say I almost smell like a... Well, I was going to say I do smell like a little bit of like a cereal, but it also has like almost this aerosol kind of smell. I'm not going to pour any more into this because, like I said, I want to get that close-up to show you guys the swirling glitter. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. Cheers. Mouth feels very light. It's crisp on the crisp side. The finish it's a bit of a dry finish. I wouldn't say it's, what do they say here, that it's They say medium body. Let's try it again. I guess it is a little bit trending towards the medium side, not so, but it still feels like it's a bit on the, it's like between light and medium. It's not super crisp, not super like a lager kind of macro lager style, super thin kind of mouthfeel, but it's a little bit heavier than that, a little bit more medium than that. Let's talk about the taste. I find that the taste isn't anything really bold or upfront. I'm not really picking up on any kind of notes of any kind of fruitiness. I mean, there's a little bit of a fruitiness. It almost tastes to me like it's a bit of a sour kind of peach flavor. I'm not really getting any kind of cereal. I'm not getting like big fruit notes. There is a slight bit of tartness, but what I'm getting is a little bit of that tartness, but a little bit of like this peachy kind of flavor too. I'm not picking up on any kind of cereal. The only fruit I'm really picking up on is peach out of this. Really kind of swishing it around. I'm getting a little bit like of a peach. I'd say there's probably a bit of like a slight bit of an apple to it. But then most of it is slightly tart, but the tartness is a major component of the flavor. So while the tartness itself is very kind of light and just slightly tart, like they say, that's true. But I'd say like the tartness is probably like 60% of the flavor, and that fruitiness is kind of plays in the background. It's playing like, it's playing backup vocals basically to this band because, you get a little bit of it, but it's just not anything that's over and above. It's not like these blasting fruity notes like it kind of mentions on it. It doesn't say blasting, but it does say big fruit notes. It is there. There is a bit of maybe a little bit of a breadiness, but it's so dry in the finish that you can't really pick any of that up. Like I said, this is my first glitter beer. To be perfectly honest, I thought we were kind of done with that last year, but I'm not really picking up. It's just not, I'm not super impressed. It's not a bad beer, but it's just not blowing my socks off. It's not like I was expecting, with this kind of whole donut thing that they talk about. I was expecting to get a little bit more of a sweetness to it. I mean, I know it's going to be slightly tart, but I also thought it would be a little bit sweeter. I don't know how much of that is the fact that this is a 5-month-old can of beer. But it's just, it's an okay sour ale. If you're a sour ale fan and you're kind of intrigued by it, you might pick this up and really enjoy it. I like sour beers to be have a little bit more flavor overall. This kind of just has a subdued, kind of muted flavor profile, especially the fruity notes. Other than that slight tartness that's there, everything else is kind of muted and it's not like really busting out and jumping out. Would I pick this up again? I only bought a single. If it was 5 months old, I definitely wouldn't pick it up again, but I would like to pick it up maybe a little bit fresher to see if the taste is any different, if there's a little bit more of a fruity flavor to it. Does this like condemn all DuClaw Brewing beers to me? No, of course not. I'm going to try any other DuClaw Brewing beers as soon as I can see them on the shelf. But for me, this would be a not buy again unless it was a lot fresher so I could compare and see if it was a little bit more fruity, a little bit sweeter, along with that tartness in a fresher can. All right, friends, that has been Sour Me, Unicorn Farts from DuClaw Brewing. Have you had any other DuClaw Brewing Company beers before? How do you feel about glitter in beer? Have you had this one before? What did you think? Do you think it's going to be better, fresher? Let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell. I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's all for free for viewers just like you, and you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. Maybe you're on the fence about trying a beer. Watch one of my videos and maybe I can save you a couple dollars. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries. These guys are in Baltimore, Maryland. And most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.